Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I wish to extend my sincere congratulations to Ms. Annalena Baerbock on assuming the important role of the President of the General Assembly at this historic moment marking the 80th anniversary of the United Nations, and my best wishes for a successful session. 8 centuries ago, the great Genghis Khan established the great Mongolian Empire, bringing together the West and the East under the rule of justice and principled statecraft. Spanning the vast expanse of Eurasia, the Pax Mongolica era heralded a period of remarkable progress and flourishing for humankind. The Pax Mongolica embodied progressive ideals that form the basis of today's collective efforts to maintain global peace and stability. Then, 8 decades ago, when the dust and ashes of the World War had not cleared yet and humanity had not healed yet from fear and anxiety, the United Nations, a great family of nations, rose to prominence as a guarantor of world peace and security and a sanctuary of hope and trust. Since its establishment, the United Nations has illuminated humanity's path, serving as a steadfast beacon of hope and trust for nations to maintain peaceful coexistence and share a prosperous future. In today's volatile and challenging international environment, we welcome Better Together, 80 years and more for peace, development, and human rights as the theme for the 80th session of the General Assembly and the general debate. Indeed, this theme calls upon us to assess and reflect upon the United Nations' achievements and challenges over the past 80 years, further strengthen its work in accordance with the United Nations Charter and the principles of international law, and combine our collective voices and efforts in pursuit of concrete and tangible outcomes. Distinguished delegates, Mongolia has consistently upheld the United Nations Charter and universally recognized principles and norms of international law, respecting the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of all states, resolving disputes by peaceful means, respecting human rights and freedoms, and fostering equal and mutually beneficial cooperation. Since becoming a full-fledged member of the United Nations in 1961, Mongolia has steadfastly supported the organization's efforts to strengthen international peace and security. It has demonstrated its enduring commitments to disarmament and non-proliferation and declared its territories nuclear weapon-free status. Furthermore, Mongolia has actively collaborated with the United Nations at all levels, including establishing a dialogue mechanism in Northeast Asia, participating in the United Nations peacekeeping operations, and putting forward various proposals and initiatives in the areas of socio-economic development, environment, and climate change to advance the implementation of development policy and goals. During his visit to Mongolia in 2022, United Nations Secretary General Mr. Antonio Guterres described our nation as a symbol of peace in a troubled world. It is a profound recognition of Mongolia's humble contributions and dedication to the work of the United Nations and its enduring commitment to the cause of peace. Over the past 23 years, Mongolia has continuously deployed personnel from its armed forces to United Nations peacekeeping operations, making a meaningful contribution to global and regional peace and security. During this period, Mongolia has deployed more than 23,000 peacekeepers to 16 United Nations peacekeeping missions and consistently ranked among the top 20 troop and police contributing countries out of more than 120 member states. As we mark the 25th anniversary of UN Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security, it is a pleasure to announce that through the steady increase in the deployment of female military personnel, the proportion of women peacekeepers from Mongolia has reached 14% in 2025. Mongolia will continue to extend its unwavering support to the United Nations in its efforts to maintain international peace and security, and it remains committed to contributing to peacekeeping operations. Distinguished delegates, at this critical juncture, with only 5 years remaining until the 2030 agenda deadline, global progress toward achieving the Sustainable Development Goals stands at the mere 17%. According to the Sustainable Development Report 2025, Mongolia's implementation of the SDGs has reached 66.7%, ranking it 14th in the United Nations Multilateralism Index. This is a testament to our decades-long efforts and a worthy achievement. I want to acknowledge the tremendous efforts of the international community and all member states in advancing the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. We welcome the outcomes of the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development held recently in Seville, Spain, where a broad consensus was reached on the crucial role of financing in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. We also appreciate that the conference agreed to increase the engagement of developing countries and take comprehensive actions aimed at reforming the current international financial architecture. Within the framework of implementing the Seville commitment adopted at the conference, it is essential to direct international development cooperation towards supporting the most vulnerable groups and addressing their challenges. It is my pleasure to note that Mongolia has been playing an active role within the United Nations in advocating the interests of landlocked developing countries, in raising awareness of their special needs and unique circumstances, and closely collaborating with them to ensure their voices are heard on the global stage. The Third United Nations Conference on Landlocked Developing Countries convened in August in Turkmenistan and adopted the Avaza Program of Action for 2024 and 2034. Landlocked developing countries have long faced trade and economic development challenges due to their geographic location. Member states have committed to implementing the program to advance the development of landlocked developing countries over the next decade and bring positive improvements to the livelihoods of more than 600 million people living in these countries. To ensure the effective implementation of the Avaza Program of Action, it is crucial for landlocked developing countries to align their national development plans with the program while mobilizing all available resources to strengthen regional integration and cooperation. Furthermore, we call upon the international community, financial institutions, and development partners to provide concrete support and cooperation with landlocked developing countries. Distinguished delegates, Mother Earth is our one and only home. However, as a result of humanity's careless behavior towards the environment, Mother Earth, with her very existence under threat, is sending a distress call like a patient in critical condition. If we do not take resolute action to preserve our Mother Earth now, she will inevitably find her own way to survive, with or without us. Since ancient times, we Mongols have believed that All beneath the sky is alive. We have revered mountains, rivers, plants, and animals, understanding that the harmony of the earth and the living world is inseparably intertwined with humanity's inner life and conscious actions. 2 millennia ago, the great Han Modon of the Huns, the Mongols' ancestors, proclaimed that the very foundation of the state is the land. Thus, UNESCO recognized this time-honored tradition of revering nature by inscribing the Mongolian traditional ritual of worshipping sacred sites on the last of the intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding. We Mongols are a people blessed with the beautiful tradition of living in harmony with Mother Nature, preserving her pristine purity, and nurturing our children from an early age with the mindset and spirit to cherish her. Accordingly, the United Nations General Assembly resolution entitled 800 Years of Mongolian Statehood, adopted in 2005, highly appreciated the contribution of Mongols to humankind's history and recognized the ever-increasing significance and relevance of a culture of living in harmony with nature, which is inherent in nomadic civilization in today's world. Today, we are committed to sharing our cultural heritage and traditional knowledge, rooted in a profound respect for living in harmony with nature, with the international community, as a valuable contribution to building resilience and enhancing adaptation to climate change. In 2026, Mongolia will host the 17th session of the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification and observe the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists. In this spirit, our country, in partnership with the United Nations, spearheads the International 10-Year Rangeland Flagship Initiative. We warmly invite you to join us in supporting and collaborating on this important endeavor. Mongolian people say, the source of life is water, and the source of water is tree. Access to safe drinking water is declining worldwide, with 3.6 billion people currently affected by water scarcity. Therefore, it is imperative for countries to implement integrated management of land and water resources in a coordinated manner and to place special emphasis on preventing water scarcity. I cordially invite you all to participate at the highest level with broad participation in the 17th session of the Conference of the Party to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, scheduled from August 17 to 28, 2026 in Ulaanbaatar. This conference seeks comprehensive solutions to adapt to climate change, protect and enhance water resources, and combat desertification and land degradation. Distinguished delegates, from the moment of birth, we Mongols have grown up on horseback, carrying our glory across the world on noble steeds and contributing to the writing of humanity's proud and enduring history. We Mongols are a nation steeped in a unique cultural heritage. We honor our noble horse in our state emblem, craft our state flag with the mane and tail hair of our swift steeds, and the souls of people around the world are spellbound by the haunting melody of horse fiddle known as the morning whore. Since ancient times, horses have been integral to human livelihoods, culture, and civilization. With the goal of preserving and safeguarding cultural heritage and traditions associated with horses and highlighting their enduring role in humankind's livelihoods, Mongolia proposed a resolution to designate July 11th as World Horse Day. This resolution was adopted during the plenary meeting of the 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly on June 3, 2025. On this occasion, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude on behalf of the horse-loving people of Mongolia to all UN member states for their support in adopting this resolution to designate and observe World Horse Day on the day of Mongolia's National Nadam Festival, which is also inscribed on UNESCO's representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Distinguished delegates, this year, countries around the world are assessing the progress made over the past 30 years since the adoption of the Copenhagen Declaration on Social Development and the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. Mongolia has undertaken a broad range of policies and activities to advance the social development goals outlined in these milestone documents, related legal frameworks, and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. These efforts have focused on poverty reduction, promoting social equality and inclusion, supporting families, children, and youth, and protecting the rights of the elderly and persons with disabilities. Among these efforts, the state policy on gender equality aims to ensure equal rights, opportunities, and treatment for both men and women while actively preventing and eliminating gender-based discrimination. Notably, Mongolia has greatly prioritized advancing gender equality and increasing women's participation in decision-making, with women now making up 25% of our parliament. We are pleased to underscore that, according to the Global Gender Gap Report 2025 by the World Economic Forum, Mongolia ranked 65th globally, improving by 20 places from the previous year and securing 5th place in the Asia-Pacific region. In recent years, Mongolia has regularly hosted international events dedicated to women and gender equality, including the International Conference on Strengthening the Role of Women in Peacekeeping in 2022, the Female Foreign Ministers Meeting in 2023, and the World Women's Forum in 2024 in cooperation with the United Nations. Last month, we successfully hosted the World Women Entrepreneurs Forum under the theme Inspire, Impact, Invest in Ulaanbaatar. I wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all countries that supported and participated in the forum. Mongolia will continue to serve as a strong bridge of partnership, cooperation, and solidarity in advancing women's leadership and participation at all levels of social and political life. Distinguished delegates, the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus once said, "The only constant in life is change." Supported by its member states, successive UN leadership have consistently pursued reforms to refine the organization's structure and operations across all aspects. In this context, Mongolia welcomes and supports the UN80 initiative that the United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres presented. We are confident that ensuring gender equality in senior leadership positions within the United Nations will undoubtedly have a positive impact on fostering more transparent, balanced, and inclusive decision-making processes. Therefore, we support initiatives to nominate women candidates for the UN Secretary-General and the Rotation for Equality initiative, which calls for gender rotation in the UN General Assembly President's position. Furthermore, Mongolia upholds and implements the principles of the UN Charter and universally recognized norms of international law, actively contributing to strengthening the UN-centered multilateral system. Mongolia reaffirms its commitment to the UN reform, particularly of the Security Council, to ensure it reflects current realities and embodies equitable and fair representation, inclusivity, transparency, effectiveness, democracy, and accountability. In an era defined by escalating conflicts, rising walls of distrust, and deepening divisions, it is more vital than ever to foster international relations grounded not merely in multipolarity, but on multi-pillar principles that honor each nation's history, culture, civilization, national interests, and unique development paths. The United Nations was established 80 years ago with the noble goals of saving humanity from the scourge of war and maintaining international peace and security. The United Nations, the cornerstone for the peaceful and harmonious coexistence among nations, must be reinforced and empowered through strong multi-pillar principles that ensure equal rights and balanced influence. Therefore, let us reflect solemnly on whether the mission entrusted to the United Nations 8 decades ago has been fully realized, and let all member states join hands in a shared commitment to revitalize the organization into a powerful institution strong enough to usher in Pax Globalica, a lasting world peace, by embodying the ideals of the Pax Mongolica, which laid the foundation for peaceful coexistence among nations and human progress 8 centuries ago. At this pivotal moment, as we commemorate the historic 80th anniversary of the United Nations, I would like to emphasize the growing importance of its role in fostering mutual understanding, trust, and respect among nations, as well as in advancing peace, stability, development, and the vision of a world free from war. Mongolia has consistently pursued a peace-loving and multipolar foreign policy, made tangible contributions to international peace and sustainable development, and remains committed to fulfilling this responsibility with honor. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to you all on the momentous occasion of the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. May the eternal blue sky bless us with peace throughout the world. Thank you for your attention.
On behalf of the Assembly, I wish to thank the President of Mongolia. The Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Sardar Bardi Muhammadov, President